Hello everyone, welcome to Broadview. My name is Joseph. Today we're going to be talking about the high technology in ancient Egyptian temples. Electric light bulbs, helicopters, CPUs, GPS. Could these modern high-tech products exist in ancient Egyptian temples? Ancient Egypt is undoubtedly one of the most interesting and exciting times in human history, with so many things still unknown. Researchers have unearthed mysterious and incredible things that have baffled experts, many of which cannot be fully explained and may even remain unsolved mysteries forever. So next, let's take a look at these amazing discoveries. The stone carvings on the walls of the ancient Egyptian temple of Dendera are very similar to the tools used today in many of its strangely designed implements. It had a crypt so mysterious that only the high priest was allowed to enter, and on the wall there's a relief depicting two strange objects. We know that the ancient Egyptians didn't have the means to write down history the way we do today, so most of the information about their culture and daily life has been lost, unfortunately. However, it seems that the Egyptians tried everything to ensure that their history would live on for as long as possible. Today, this form of writing is known as hieroglyphs, and we've made great strides in understanding how this writing system worked and have discovered many stories translated from this writing. This light bulb, which looks very much like an ancient version of the light bulb, is one of the most interesting stories that still remains a mystery. According to archaeologists, the ancients used torches to illuminate tombs and temples, but there is no trace of smoke left on the walls or ceilings of the Temple of Dendera, indicating that the torches may not have been used as the main lighting tool in this place. There's also thought that there was not enough oxygen inside the tomb to keep the torches burning. Of course, there's another theory that relies on the reflection of light from the outside by a copper mirror to illuminate the tomb. But experiments have proven that this isn't quite possible, as copper mirrors are not reflective enough to allow people to see objects inside the tomb, unless they had some other form of light, such as light bulbs. Right now, we're not sure what these drawings mean. After all, they depict everyday objects that were very common in ancient Egyptian times and may just be similar to a light bulb, rather than a viable source of light itself. But many people still believe that this is an ancient version of a modern light bulb. The question is, if it really is a light bulb, where does the source of power come from? Is it electrical? Humans already know that the pyramids have a kind of pyramid energy, and this mysterious energy has been proven to really exist by modern science. Therefore, it's believed that the pyramids were the power stations of the ancient Egyptians, and the obelisk was the transmitting and receiving antenna of the power station. Really interesting, in fact. In other words, the ancient Egyptians seem to have been far more intelligent than we previously thought, and they may have learned to harness the power of electricity. In any case, the bulb known as Dendera light remains a mystery, and hopefully, with time, we'll learn more about the drawings and what they mean. Located 290 kilometers south of Aswan, Egypt, a famous temple, the Temple of Abu-Simbel, was built more than 3,300 years ago for Ramses II. He was the pharaoh of the 19th dynasty during the New Kingdom. It's famous not only because of Ramses II, but because of the Abu-Simbel Sun Festival. This festival continues today and has a history of more than 3,000 years. At that time, the architects of the Abu-Simbel temple combined knowledge from multiple fields to create such a spectacle. On the birthday of Ramses II, February 21st, and the enthronement day, October 21st each year, the first sunlight from the main entrance will pass through the 67-meter-long corridor, illuminating the three inner statues of Ra, the sun god Ramses II, and Amun, the king of the gods. The illumination time is as long as 20 minutes, and on the far left, Ptah, the god of darkness, is always in the dark. This magical site is known as the Abu-Simbel Sun Festival. It is a testimony to the powerful engineering skills of the ancient Egyptians. When the construction of the Aswan Dam began in the 1960s, the Temple of Abu-Simbel, a cultural treasure to mankind, had to be moved to higher altitude. As a result, scientists and architects from England, the United States, the Soviet Union, and other countries carefully rebuilt the Abu-Simbel temple. After relocation, the temple remains majestic. On the 21st of October, when everyone was waiting to see the Abu-Simbel Sun Festival, there was an accident. The Abu-Simbel Sun Festival was delayed after relocation. After waiting for a day, on the 22nd, the sun barely shone again on top of the statue. No matter how scientists explain it now, the result doesn't lie. 3,300 years ago, ancient Egyptians managed to chisel through the mountain, while during the 60s, people just relocated the hill. The ancient Egyptians could let the sun shine on the pharaoh on the 21st. In comparison, advanced technology in the 60s couldn't get it right by one day. I once asked an engineer friend about this, who said that this technique of locating the sun on the mountain is not as easy as locating it on the ground. To accurately locate the sun in an unexcavated mountain, it would be nearly impossible without GPS and supercomputers. So this is the root cause of the one-day error for scientists in the 1960s. So our next question is, did the ancient Egyptians have these two things, or some other form of hyperintelligence? The Temple of Edfu, built in 237 BC, is located on the west bank of the Nile River in Egypt. For centuries, it remained buried beneath the silt of the Nile until it was discovered by French archaeologists in the 19th century. Currently, it is the best preserved temple in Egypt. This temple is dedicated to Horus, the hawk-headed god of the sun. Scientists have found that the temple structure is almost identical to a computer CPU, with its four-way zigzag-line structure. The library on the east side of the temple, which stores information and books, is the hub of the temple. The whole row of corridors looks similar to the slots of an integrated circuit chip. The entire temple looks like an old computer CPU processor from the cross-section view. So one has to ask, is this just a coincidence? Or did the ancient Egyptians really have technology that we can't imagine now? It's a playful thought, but it might help us reveal more about their engineering skills and understanding the technology that they might have had at the time. In the Temple of Seti I, located in Abydos, Egypt, there is an astonishing discovery that has caused controversy in the scientific community. The hieroglyphs on the walls are more than 2,000 years old inside the temple. The images were cut into the ancient rock with incredible precision. As a result, the images surprisingly recorded the secrets of how generations of pharaohs lived and died. In 1848, an archaeological explorer discovered some strange images on a 10-meter high beam at the entrance of the Seti temple. No scientist knew what the hieroglyphs were trying to say at that time. Like many other mysterious ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, these strange images were gradually forgotten as time passed. Then, more than 150 years later, archaeologists were shocked to discover that the images carved by the ancient Egyptian artists 3,000 years ago were almost the same as models of helicopters and submarines. This ancient image of what appears to be a fighter helicopter has a similar structure of a spiral blade and tail. Several other images of aircrafts also identical to modern supersonic fighters and bombers. One opinion is that the images were created by coincidence. There was originally a layer of hidden characters beneath the images. Later, weather caused the mortar to flake off, thus causing the lower layer of characters to overlap with the upper layer of textures and creating a coincidence. However, some experts do not agree with this. After studying the hieroglyphs on the Seti temple, Egyptian archaeologist Alan Alford is convinced that the helicopters or airplanes depicted by ancient Egyptian artists were real. Alford said that the ancient Egyptians showed a realistic model of a helicopter. The images were as if they were describing everyday life. Could the ancient Egyptians really have mastered the technology of flying, though? Next, I'll show you another interesting thing. Egypt's oldest and most magnificent cemeteries are concentrated in the Saqqara region. This area is home to many pharaohs and ministers from the 3rd dynasty of the ancient kingdom to the reign of the ancient Greeks. More than 100 years ago, an exciting object was unearthed in the Saqqara area, a small carved wooden bird, a statue that's more than 2,000 years old. The artifact was later sent to the Cairo Museum, where it was placed with several other bird collections, and no one noticed it for a long time. It wasn't until 1969 when Dr. Khalil Messiah, a doctor in Egyptology, examined the collection and noticed something different about this wooden sculpture of a bird. The wings of this bird were clearly not those of a bird. The wings are slightly thicker compared to the edges, where the lift is highest in this region, and taper to the end. This wing model is almost as if it's a modern aerodynamic design. The bird doesn't have a rudder because, according to the aerodynamic structure of the bird, it does not need a rudder. In addition, the bird has a vertical tail which doesn't exist in nature. Still, this structure can be used as a stabilizer for a flying machine. Therefore, some experts believe that this bird proves that the ancient Egyptians had mastered the principle of gliding. But if the bird were to fly, it would need a horizontal tail at the back to maintain stability, as in contemporary gliders. Otherwise, the bird would fall headfirst to the ground. In fact, the Saqqara bird has a notch in the rear where a similar horizontal tail may have appeared. In 2006, Simon Sanderson, a space and aerodynamics expert, built a 5x isometric model of the Saqqara bird, with the addition of a tail fin, and he used it in wind tunnel testing. After testing and analysis, the results were incredible. The Saqqara bird has an excellent aerodynamic design, which means it can glide perfectly. But the blueprints for modern gliders and the technology associated with gliders didn't exist until the 19th century. And these ancient technologies actually worked better than some of the earlier versions. And the features of this ancient glider actually work better than some of the earlier, more modern versions of gliders. So did the ancient Egyptians really fly? Well, we can't prove it, and the mystery remains in the air. Our discovery of mysterious technology in ancient Egypt seems to have changed our understanding of how planes, trains, and cars were born in the first place. Are we just reinventing the work of the ancients? If we're only at the tip of the iceberg of how the ancient world really works, what new inventions are still lurking, ready to rewrite the history books? Now it's your turn. What do you think of these amazing technologies of ancient Egypt? Have you come across evidence somewhere else that the ancients had advanced technology? Share below. We're already looking forward to your comments. If you liked our video, please give us a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe. Click the bell to stay up to date from now on. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.